Welcome back to the It's Bigger Than Me podcast. I'm your host, Molly Trotter Gomez. I'm so excited for you to hear from my brand new guest today, new friend, somebody that I got the pleasure of connecting with on social media not that long ago, which I know everybody hears that for pretty much everybody I connect with these days. I'm telling you, you get out there, you meet amazing people, and hey, a lot of these people are so great and their stories are so impactful just when I get to know them that I can't wait to share them with you. So I can't wait to introduce to you Chris. He is the CEO, the founder of the Coastal Concierge. It's a beautiful thing that you've put together, Chris. I'm going to have you explain a little bit more as to what that is. But particularly today, everyone, we're going to lean in because this entrepreneurship journey, all the guests you've heard on the podcast up until now, or maybe this is your first one, you probably hear a lot of entrepreneurs that are constantly like, okay, I started, but now I'm here and this is amazing. Or they have that fire and desire in the very beginning and they have all that energy to get going. But what happens in the middle? What happens in the middle? And particularly, we're going to be diving into some of the messy middle parts because I believe, and I know Chris is going to have some great things to say on this just with his journey. So many people, if they were exposed to this middle part, many more would not give up. This is where the grit, the character, the determination, where you get forged in the fire sometimes to really see, do you have what it takes to be able to birth this thing that God has put on your heart? So, Chris, I'm excited to have you here. Thank you for coming on the show. And before we cannonball into our topic today, I would love for you to share a little bit more about yourself for the viewers that are watching and listening.
Absolutely, Molly. And thank you so much for having me on. I'm super excited to be here with you today. Yes, the company is the Coastal Concierge. I'm the CEO and I'm also the founder. We launched about 2 years ago. And essentially, what we do, very simply, is we provide amazing experiences for travelers that are in hotel properties that we work with, and then also private travelers. So we have a really incredible technology platform that we've recently rolled out. We white label that for some hotel partners that we work with. That is an amazing asset for their guests. It literally has anything and everything that the guests may ever need to know about that hotel or the local area. Um, Puts it all right at the palm of their hand and provides an amazing experience. So we're pretty excited about that, and we're as you mentioned, we're gritting it and grinding it along as we unleash this and move into the next season of our business.
I love it. Now, to back up just even a little bit more, I love what you've created of being able to have what people are looking for, what they need at their fingertips when they're traveling, especially, like you mentioned, you're in Florida. Beautiful place to travel to. I mean, the weather's amazing, the beaches are amazing. There's so many amazing experiences that you can have out there. What did you do prior to this that led you into creating the Coastal Concierge?
Yeah, great. So a couple the company was kind of created out of a couple different scenarios, but in my prior life I was in insurance in the insurance industry. I was in a wholesale capacity in the employee benefits arena. And one of the things that I did quite often is a lot of client entertainment. We would go out of town, we would take our guests out of town, we would entertain, and I always loved putting those types of trips together. I love providing those types of experiences and then getting the feedback, at the end of those events that, man, this was really awesome. We had such a great time. And so that kind of got the wheels turning a little bit. But in addition to that, I have had the good fortune of doing not only a lot of business travel, but a lot of personal travel. And I remember kind of the main story. My wife loves to tell this is we were sitting on the beach one evening, sun was going down, and we kind of had a little bit of a dilemma. Do we hang out on the beach and watch the sunset, or do we take the kids back to the room and get them cleaned up and go out to dinner? And I was thinking, it would be nice, like if our hotel had some sort of a service that could help us in a moment like that. Maybe provide some insight, provide some guidance. And my wife had said, you should start a business that solves that problem. So those kind of things happened over and over again. And I think maybe the straw that broke the camel's back was we I took my son on a college visit a couple years ago, and we stayed in an Airbnb. It was a long day at the college campus. We came back. I called the Airbnb host and said, "Hey, look, we'd love a great recommendation for a barbecue restaurant. Do you know anything, or do you know any great places we can go to?" And the host literally said, "I'm not really sure. I don't really like barbecue. I don't know what to tell you." And again, it hit me. Here's an issue. Here's a problem. Like, how do you provide that type of an answer? Like, where's the guest experience in all of this? So that really kind of struck the chord. Wheels got turning, and kind of here we are a couple years into it, providing solutions to problems like that for travelers that are, in the properties that we work with.
I love those moments where it's like, you know what? There needs to be a solution here. There needs to be a better opportunity here. There needs to be something else. And in true fashion, it takes those brave ones that it's kind of like you're strumming the guitar. It's like, note after note, like, okay, this is striking a chord with me, and this is striking a chord with me. Where do we go from here? And so I love that you have a wife that's like, you should do something about it, and you should create this thing. And I feel like there are so many people out there, me included. I've had many ideas, I'm sure of it, where that idea came. And then I was like, maybe somebody else would do it. Oh, is it really supposed to be me? Like, talk about that transition for you before we get into the meat of now you're a couple years in. Did you ever have those moments of like, should I, shouldn't I? Or was it just like a deep knowing and you ripped off the Band-Aid and did it? I'm curious on what that looked like for you in that transition.
Yeah, so this was a total, I mean, so what I just described was what I would call kind of the worldly path to this new endeavor. But really, I had a drumbeat inside of me for a long time saying you need to do something different. It's time. So I really feel like this is a calling. And when I started to really think about how I would put this together, it's amazing. With the breadcrumbs that I feel God laid in front of me to just keep taking baby steps. Um, and so when you think of a business and you think of the end and you think of the vision and how that business will look, a lot has to happen between today and that end goal. And what I learned really quickly is I only have so many hours in a day, and there's only so much time to get things done. And you can't really think too far ahead, but what you can do is you can take steps every day. So it was really a faith journey. I talk to a lot of people about this. It's all about serving. It's all about giving back. I mean, we try to provide an amazing experience. We want guests to go home with a memory. We want to be part of that. And we really just want to serve them. So that's kind of the faith part of it is, how can we create an environment where we really are serving people and providing an amazing memory for folks. So total faith journey. I'm in a completely different industry. I went from insurance to hospitality, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. And it's been incredible and so fulfilling, and I've learned so much along the way so far.
What I know about people, when you have the gift for hospitality, I mean, that is a certain type of gift. I'm okay at it. Let's just put it that way. I'm okay at it. My sister-in-law, however, I mean, it exceedingly and abundantly in all the areas. And she got to that point. But I think about the people in my life, even from what you said, hospitality is such a gift to serve people, to provide an experience, to make people feel warm, welcome, wanted. It matters, right? I even think of what type of grocery stores I walk into. Like, what does it make me feel like when I walk into it? Is it like dark and dingy and it's just kind of like, or is it warm, inviting, decent music and a good atmosphere? And so people that are able to do that through experiences that are around hospitality to make those memories that much more memorable. So you're not focused on like, oh, I wish I had this here, or, what if I have to spend time on that there? You're filling in those gaps. You're filling in the blank. So I love that because it truly is a gift for people that can be hospitable. And you turn that into a business from that calling, like you mentioned, that was just deep inside of you that finally came out. Now I'm curious, kind of transitioning into, you're a couple years into this, you have the vision, you put it together, you're a couple years into this. What are some things that maybe comes to mind when you think of this middle process? Like things that maybe you have learned that you didn't expect. Just describe some of those to us, because I feel like it's like in this middle for people like yourself, which thank you for being willing to even share this, because a lot of people aren't. They want to just hide and protect and wait till it's all done and they're a multi-million-dollar whatever company. But this part I think is truly the part that can really help people just lean into maybe their calling that they're scared to take the leap in. So in this middle part, like, what are you experiencing? What are you learning?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So when I first launched this business, my idea was I would go into hotels and basically say, do you need a concierge? They would say, we don't have one. Yes, we'll hire you virtually. And they would connect us with their guests, and we would speak to the guests and provide that service. Well, early on, I learned that that model wasn't going to work. So we had to do a lot of pivots. So I would say that, for sure, iteration after iteration after iteration is a big part of the messy middle. It's figuring out how to get from step one to step two to step three to step four, and just having the intestinal fortitude to just keep pushing on, knowing that, what, I know I'm making progress here. I know I'm going in the right direction. I can see things happening. We're starting to get paying customers. People are giving us reviews saying, you created an amazing experience that we never would have had if we didn't have your service. So we're like, okay, something's working, we're doing something right. How can we continue to grow? And the one thing that you think about when I first started is I really wanted to build a business for scale. It would be very easy to take my original model and just keep it very manual, and place that in a few entities. But I felt like, no, I've got to put the tools together. I've got to have the software stack, so that when this thing takes off, like I know it is, because I have complete faith that it's going to just really, really blow up. I want to make sure that it's built on a platform that can take off, like a solid foundation that can take off and launch a rocket. So I think those were probably, there's many, many things, but I would say lots of iterations. Lots of hitting a dead end and having to make a right or a left turn to keep moving. And then, just continuing to press on. And like I say, for me in this business, thinking about an end version that's built for scale, that can be pushed out, worldwide, in a heartbeat if needed.
I love it. I mean, if you have something that's good and there's a calling, there's so much technology now that can help you scale. And I know there's still a big part of the population that's like technology, AI, all these different systems, like they freak out. Luckily, there are so many people out there that can guide you, that have gone before you, that can help you not have that be such a scary uphill battle. But ultimately, if you have something great, how can this get into the hands of more people, right? How can it multiply? How can you use what you're doing to even just be that guiding light to disciple other people? Whatever it is that your model is, you are starting with the singular vision of what somebody was given. And then, like you said, many, many, many iterations. I think that doesn't get talked about enough, of how many pivots have to happen typically within that dream. Like God gives us, like, here's the dream, here's what you're going to create. And you're like, amazing. Then you start reverse engineering it. And then there's just different things that come into play that you didn't anticipate. But it's that faith journey, right? I'm going to keep focused. I'm going to say, okay, Lord, what's the next step? Or if you're with a business mentor as well, like, what's the next step? Where do we go from here? And so I love that you shared that, like, here's where we started by being concierge for other people. And now, obviously, how do people get in touch with you in order to gain these experiences within themselves, since you've obviously separated from that first initial step that you had?
Yeah, so we're pretty excited. We just launched a refresh of our website. So that is the first and foremost, the best way to get in touch with us. Just go to thecoastalconcierge.com, and you can get in touch with us and our team and get things moving that way. That's probably the best way. But if I could I just had a prompting and a thought, just another story, just about the iterations and the journey. I remember, prior to launching the business, I was still, I hadn't transitioned fully over into this company yet. And I was in the back of an Uber, and the Uber driver was cranking some really loud music. I remember driving or riding in the back, riding up the highway, and all of a sudden that music stopped, and it was the weirdest segue. It said, I remember it like it was yesterday. Now for a business moment. If you have an idea and you give that to God and just pray about it, He will continue to unravel the steps for you day by day. And it was something like that kind of a message. And then that ended, and it went back to like this loud, crazy music. And I'm like, that was very odd that what I heard was in the middle of that type of music that it was in, I'm like, okay, I know that God breathed on this business for me. But that was really, I think that's the key with the messy middle. Just, step back, listen to that voice, and take, all you can do is take one day at a time. We're on equal footings with the best and most skilled entrepreneurs in the world in that we all have this 24-hour period. It's just a matter of how you use those hours within that time frame. Nobody has really a leg up there.
That's so true. I love it when God just gives us exactly what we need when we need it. And then we're able to just be like, okay, I know that I heard from you. I've had many of those moments spoken through. I mean, various things. I'm on a walk and, I feel like there's something that's impressed upon me, right? That I truly believe is the Holy Spirit. Or even have people reach out. I've had several friends reach out being like, I had a dream and here's the dream. And that's literally their tone coming through of like, I have no idea what this means, but I just know I'm supposed to share it with you, or just different words. And it's like he can use any part of creation to give you that verification, that sign, the whatever it is that you're looking for to be like, okay, I am going in that right direction. Because we'll never fully know. Never fully know. Any route that I've taken as an entrepreneur, most of the time I'm like 98% sure. I'm like, okay, I think this is from you. I feel your piece on it and we're going to go. Some of those didn't turn out. Some of those chapters have been closed. And, it's hard when you have to move on from something else, but it's not some wise words that I received from a mentor of mine. It's not a failure. It's a pivot to help you upgrade to the next. And so many people will look at, oh, this is a failure, right? Well, I know that all of my entrepreneurs out there, as I'm sure you have an audience of this too, Chris, people are watching like, wow, these people are nuts. Like they're taking this idea, they're getting away from, security and a secure job and a check and all of that to go build something that they don't know will actually work out. But we feel like we have this calling that's embedded in us, and it's up to us to go out and give it everything that we can, to do the best that we can, and it may not work, or it may be wildly successful. And by the way, success can look different in many ways. And as I know for you, Chris, as you're building this business and you're a couple years in, obviously financial goals, I'm sure you have big ones, as I know you want to scale this and go beyond you. What are some other successes that you've had so far that may not even equate to dollar amounts that you might consider a success so far?
Yeah, so behind the scenes, we engage a lot of customers, and I was thinking about this morning. So, we'll go into to a boutique hotel, for example. They don't have any guest technology. We'll institute our amazing, beautiful app. It'll start providing a better guest experience. It eliminates tons and tons of repetitive questions coming into the front desk team. Hey, what time's check-in? What time's check-out? What's the Wi-Fi? Like all of that is in there. So all of a sudden, they're like, wow, we aren't getting these questions anymore. The guests are going to the app. But one of the things that's really cool is we get so much engagement behind the scenes that I don't really think that some of the property managers that we work with really know. Like just, thousands of text messages, thousands of app downloads. So there's a lot of activity and a lot of usage going on behind the scenes, which is a massive, massive win, because you can step back and you say, okay, people are actually using this thing that I built. It's really pretty cool. So it's just a matter of making the user experience better, creating more features that provide more value to the end user and also to the property itself. But I would say probably the biggest thing, at least on top of my mind in the last couple of days, is the amount of usage that we're getting in our asset. So it's like, hey, okay, this crazy idea you had, people kind of like it. It's kind of working. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing right now.
That's huge in a world where there's so many different apps and there's so many choices, and everybody's like, hey, here's my solution. You are knowing that your solution is working based on the feedback that you're getting, based on the lack of questions that you're getting for the repetitive questions, being able to leverage yourself and the clients that you're working for, to really be able to enhance their guest experience, which is huge. I mean, I can't be the only one when I say, if I have a good customer service experience, I mean, especially if I can tip on that, you're getting a big tip all day long, because it's actually rare to find a good
Right.
customer service experience. You're getting all these people that basically hate their job, and you can tell, and you're like, great, or might even be somebody from another country and there could be a language barrier, which is no fault to them. It could just be difficult. And so you're getting this great feedback, which is amazing, which I say that's a huge win. And I love being able to talk about the wins outside of financial because we get so fixated because that's what society says. You know, your worth is dictated basically on your bank account, how many people you're serving, like all these metrics. And don't get me wrong, metrics are powerful. Data is powerful. It's going to give you feedback as to where can we improve, what can we do better. But you know, even they say in like the fitness world, the wellness world, non-scale victories. You might not see the weight fall off, but you feel better and you're seeing things or you're getting feedback. And so all too often we brush past, almost sprint past these wins. And we're like, but it's not good enough. I have to do this and I got to have this and this. And so
Right.
thank you for sharing that because I believe that really will speak to somebody of maybe they're in that middle right now. And it gets you to ask the question. So anybody listening, watching, you know, what is a success at this point, even if the financial part hasn't come through the way that you want? Which, by the way, we always want more. We're human. We always want more. So learn to celebrate those successes along the way. Anything else you'd like to add to that?
Um, what else would I like to add to that? Um, no, I mean, I think that that kind of wraps it up in that perspective. So yeah, I think I'm solid on that.
Awesome. You know, as we're going back and forth, typically it's like I can, you know, either myself or the guest will go on this rant, and I was like, all right, pause. They might have something that pops up, and you know, I
Well,
love being able. Oh, go
I guess
ahead.
if I could, yeah, something just did pop up. So one of the reasons, the why that we built this, and you kind of hit on a second ago, Molly, is that you know we are so inundated with technology. You know, 24/7. It's coming at us, voicemails, emails from work. And one of the things that we wanted to create with this platform was the ability for someone really to just step away when you go on vacation. You take that 1 week or 2 weeks a year or whatever that is, you circle those days on the calendar, you're leading up to that. Maybe you've saved your hard-earned dollars to go away. Um, and then you get there. The last thing I think anybody wants is, to get into like an endless voicemail loop or an email loop or not have good experience. So that is really how we designed our technology. Not only is it a technology asset, but it has the ability to talk to a live person 24/7. So, again, someone that's worked hard and saved up and gone on that vacation, they should be treated like royalty. So that's kind of the experience that we're trying to provide for folks, to give them that opportunity, that 1 week a year, that 2 weeks out of the year, just to be treated really, really special and go home feeling like, wow, this property really treated me in a way that I'll never forget, the way I felt when I was there and the way that these people interacted with me. So that's really what we're ultimately trying to create. Because I think a lot of times with tech, it's about, convenience. It's about give it to me faster. And we have all of that, but we have a human element baked into it as well, to provide that. There's no other way to provide that high level guest experience and take out that human element. So we keep that in there. And I think that's probably a huge differentiator for us.
I'm sure you're having people just clap because as much as every company wants to leverage themselves and try to take out the person because it costs to have a person, humans want to interact with humans and they have questions and they want to get right to the point. And so that matters, right? That part matters. So I hope that everybody that's listening to this, yes, is this obviously not just a great concept, a great business, a great way to create experiences. Think about the best experiences that you've ever had in your life. What made those great experiences?
Right.
Or the next one you want to go on. When you get that dreamer moving, where would you like to go? If you had the time, you had the resources, where would you like to go? Where would you like to be? Obviously, if as of right now, if Florida is the place you want to go, you need to reach out to Chris and you can get all that information below. And there's amazing places that I know Chris can get you really connected in to have those experiences. But those are the memories, those experiences that we create, that we make time and space for, that we save up our hard-earned dollars for. Those are the memories we get to take with us. I know some of my most cherished memories are the vacations that I've had with my family. Now with going to be with my new nieces and nephews, like we come together a couple times a year to really be able to spend time because life gets busy. Things are crazy. We're going in different directions. The family's growing. Or even for those who are maybe on the back nine of life, right? And they're retired and they want to be able to go and enjoy. being able to bank those memories that you get to take with you while you're here. You get to talk about them, you get to reminisce. And then even when you leave this world, it matters. Those are the things that you remember, the time well spent. And so I love that you and your team are saying, hey, we know that this matters. This matters to us. That's why we created this. So it can just have that much more of that. You can take much more time to spend on the things you actually want to be doing via vacation than going back and forth with a bot or whatever about what's the Wi-Fi, what's this, I can't get in, or this is whatever. And things will happen, but the guest experience and the customer service is huge. Because again, I will pay great money for good customer service. It really
Right,
does
right.
matter. So as we're wrapping this up today, Chris, is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we wrap it up today?
I think I would just like to say again, thank you for the opportunity to be on the podcast today. It was a lot of fun. But yes, guest experience is really where it's at. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's think about your best vacations and the best experiences you ever had. You may not even remember where you were, or you might not remember the room that you stayed in. It was something happened, something unique, something intentional, something that was planned. Some person was there to help you. Really kind of hard to create that on your own. And so that's kind of what we're looking to fill that gap and be that bridge between like the vision and the actual memory. Um, and I would just say for the entrepreneurs out there, just, never ever give up. I mean, just keep pushing forward, keep taking those iterations. Every problem has a solution. Everything is solvable. Um, and do a lot of praying. Do a lot of praying. I start my morning every morning, in the quiet prayer time and getting into the Word. And honestly, I couldn't have taken this journey and gotten as far as I've gotten without doing that every single morning.
I love it. Wrap it up with prayer. I mean, it's amazing. It's not the last resort. It's the first place to go. It's where the
Yes.
vision comes in. It's where the hope comes in. It's where, you know what, just keep pressing on. Because sometimes as an entrepreneur, you feel like you're alone. Even though you're not, you feel that way because the enemy wants you to make you feel like you're alone, but you never are. And that vision was planted in you for a purpose. You got to keep watering that seed. The weeds that come in, which are the doubt, we weed the garden, right? To make sure that seed has the fruitful soil that it needs to turn into an experience, just like you've created, Chris, for people to have amazing experiences. So thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your journey with us today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you, Molly.
Thank you so much for joining me on the It's Bigger Than Me podcast. If this episode spoke to you, go share it. Someone else needs the breakthrough that you just had. And don't forget to tag me on social media. I would love to reshare what spoke to you the most on this episode. Your story is meant to be mentorship to somebody else. It's meant to move others. Don't keep it quiet. Go lead with it. Until next time, keep showing up and keep sharing what matters.